of inspiring us and allowing us to go through difficult times. One of the most significant journeys that I took was going to Robben Island in South Africa and seeing the 27 years of my hero, Nelson Mandela, spent in captivity, standing up and fighting for what he believed is right. It's hard to believe that in 30 years of independence, watching the free spirit of South Africa, that we're here now at Bowling Green raising the flag. And inspiration does not stay in one geographical location. Nelson Mandela often talks about how Gandhi played a role in India that inspired him to use the same mechanism to fight for freedom in South Africa. Dr. King talks about his experience with Gandhi. And for those of you from South African ancestry, you need to know how big the movement was here in America. I remember as a young man protesting and saying South Africa must be free and we must dismantle apartheid, and how important it was, and how we had to significantly organize together and fight. And now today we stand 30 years later, raising the South African flag right here in New York City. I like to say that New York is the Johannesburg of America. The South African music and spirit and culture is alive and well here. And I'm excited about this moment. I'm sure you knew that it took 110 mayors before we were able to really celebrate the contribution of the South African community here in the city. Your presence is clear. You bring so much. And I'll never forget standing in Cape Town and driving up the beautiful coast into Port Elizabeth and into Johannesburg and watching the people embrace and grow. South Africa is free. 30 years later, we will continue to celebrate and raise the flag. Let's say happy independence to the people of South Africa. Thank you.
I think you can give him a better round of applause. That's, of course, the mayor of the New York City, none other than Mr. Eric Adams himself. Official welcome to you, Mayor. A little bit earlier on, I was telling you all how I'm globally known as the message architect. This is because I like to break words and build them again so that they can create a message that moves society and humanity forward. Today, when I thought of program directing here, two words stuck out for me: freedom and unity. Of course, the mayor's just spoken to the unity, how it took partners in order for us to create this freedom. When I break down the word unity, U-N-I-T-Y, a sentence started coming and forming in my mind. Until nations intentionally try, we will never get freedom. And it all starts with you. And if you listen very carefully, until nations intentionally try, and it starts with you. I've spelt the word unity. I then started to think of the word freedom, and what does that mean today? For me, it means for real equity and equality to occur, we need discipline of the mind. And if you look very carefully there, with the first letters, I have spelled the word freedom. For real equity and equality to occur, we need discipline of the mind. And so without further ado, I'd like to please call to the podium Charge d'Affaires, Mr. Ishmael Esau.
Thank you, Program Director, and thank you to the Honourable Mayor for that introduction as well. Thank you. Thank you to everybody here and welcome. In terms of the salutations, I wish to say welcome to everybody, to Mr. Arthur Piccolo, Chairman of the Bowling Green Association, representatives of the New York Mayor's Office, to the Chief and to the Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, cherished friends of South Africa, all protocol observed. On behalf of the government of the Republic of South Africa and the South African Permanent Mission to the United Nations and the South African Consulate General in New York, it is indeed a great honor. And let me begin by expressing my profound appreciation for the collaborative efforts between the New York City Mayor's Office, the Bowling Green Park Association, and to everyone involved in organizing, and to all you present here today at this auspicious flag-raising event. This ceremony is important to us as it honors, and it is indeed an honor to raise the South African flag alongside the Mayor and in the presence of our esteemed guests. The choice of the Bowling Green Park as the venue carries symbolic value. It is a place where many Americans fell fighting for freedom and independence. Today's flag raising is an emotional reminder of the occasion 30 years ago when on the 27th April 1994, South Africa cast aside centuries of discrimination and oppression to form a new society built on the foundation of freedom and democracy. The moment fittingly affirmed the pride and the dignity of an unfolding country and a celebration of humanity. It marked the end of apartheid and an introduction of a new constitutional order, wherein all South Africans work towards a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous country. The 27th of April, which is tomorrow, holds even greater significance as this year we celebrate the 30th anniversary of South Africa's first democratic elections. And we celebrate this Freedom Month under the theme 30 years of democracy, partnerships and growth. It also marks the 28th anniversary of the enactment of the South African Constitution as the supreme law of our country. Another significant moment in the South African history was the merger of Nkosi Sikelel' Africa and Distem to form one of the national anthems in 1997. Also on the 27th April 2000 was the new coat of arms was launched and embracing the collective historical essence of the people of the country. The new flag, as you see, flew on the 10th of May 1994, when one of the world's most revered statesmen, civil rights activists, and Nobel Peace Laureate, Nelson Mandela, inaugurated the country's first black president, becoming an international emblem of dignity and forbearance. Sorry about that. It came at a time when the country needed a change, a binding symbol of hope and freedom, and a true rainbow nation indicator. The proclamation of the new flag reflected the dawn of a new democratic era in South Africa. Its significance resides in the value the humans give to it. When talking about the South African flag, the emotional meaning is very important. One needs to know in which context it is approved. This freedom where they celebrate achievements we have made over the past 3 decades of our democratic journey. We also remember the sacrifice of unsung heroes and heroines who fought for our freedom, and a nation that is truly democratic, equal, representative, fair and free from all forms of discrimination. The purpose of this year's Freedom and Freedom Month celebration are to enhance an understanding of our nation's history and the development and reflect on how we can advance our progress and address our most pressing challenges. The commemoration comes at a time when our nation prepares for the next national and provincial elections, which will take place on the 29th of May. These elections take place against the backdrop of the commemoration of our 30 years of freedom and provides the opportunity to reflect on the lives of South Africans. We need to work together closely to overcome our challenges and we face to engage frankly and meaningfully on issues where our views as countries may differ, and to chart a course in a promising future that will benefit both South Africa and the United States. By working together and cooperating across national and international boundaries, we can build and sustain a South Africa connected to a world that is mutually respectful, resilient, peaceful, and prosperous, and uphold our shared values of democracy, inclusive development, and respect for diversity. The city of New York is one of the most diverse cities on the globe. When one looks at the melting pot of all that we bring part of our culture to that city that allows us to resolve international and national problems that we all are facing. Let the South African flag speak not to our own unique history and identity, but also leave as a symbol of hope, opportunity, and transformative days ahead. Let's raise that flag. And as we hoist both United States, the flag both of the United States and the Republic of South Africa, we honor the great city of New York that has made American dream a reality for many of South Africans. And as the awareness of that we'll together achieve connection, friendship, cooperation, and the kingship we share. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think a lot of times when we talk about symbols of hope, it's something that's in the imagination. I want to give you a tangible example. I am a symbol of hope because a bunch of people decided to stick up for our democracy 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I wouldn't have been allowed to pursue my purpose. It would have landed up with just my imagination. I am here today allowed to freely travel to New York to celebrate my own birth country because people decided to fight for my freedom and for generations to come. And I will remain forever thankful, and I too will fight for generations to come. Now, to close us off, I'd like to invite Ms. Isata Kamara, Deputy Commissioner of Policy and Strategic Initiative and Chief of Staff for the New York City Mayor's Office of International Affairs. She'll then lead us into the flag raising, so please do not leave because we're about to sing the national anthem, and I'd love for all of us to be able to do that together.
Viva South Africa, viva! Viva New York City, viva! Thank you all so much. It is such an honor to be able to come with you and celebrate the 30th Freedom Day. And I have the honor to work with Mayor Eric Adams every single day for our community, for the African community. He's standing here, so I don't want you to think that I'm just saying it because he's standing there. But we are committed to making sure that Africans are seen in New York City. We are committed to making sure that your voices are heard. We are committed to doing everything that we can to advance our community. So today we're celebrating South Africa, but we will come back here again to celebrate many, many other countries, including African countries. And I want to take the opportunity to invite you on May 25th, when we will be raising the flag of the African Union. So can we say, Viva Mayor Eric Adams, viva! Viva! Viva Mayor Eric Adams, viva! Viva! Viva South Africa. Thank you all so much. Take care.
We're now going to get into the flag raising, so I'm going to please ask Felicia to make her way so we can sing the USA national anthem as the flag goes up. So can we just wait until we get Felicia forward to sing the national anthem?
Yep, and I just have to acknowledge one person here, sorry.
Who?
I just, the diplomat. Sure.
She just wants to.
And before we raise the flag, we want to acknowledge the diplomats that are here, the Consul General of the UAE, as well as others that are present today. Thank you for coming. And also we want to acknowledge Leonard Ejogu from the African Council, who is also here and works with us. All right, over to the anthem. Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. And oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That was, of course, Felicia Boswell. A round of applause, please. Now, before we move to raising the South African flag, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of people that are here with us today. We have Diana Katzen, a former executive director for Shared Interest, and we also have Anne Mickle, who is the current in charge for Shared Interest. Now, one person I really would like to acknowledge, and hopefully he will come up to here and help us raise the flag, is Godfrey Sithole. He was part of the freedom fighters who fought for the democracy of South Africa. So if we could please have Bab Godfrey join us as we raise the South African flag. Getty saying, do you want to join me?
Okay. We can all join. Kosi sigeleli Afrika malupagangisu pondolwayo izwa imitandazo yetu Kosi sigelela tina luswa polwayo murena buluka sichaba sa Yesu ufedise dintwali matswenye usibuluke sibuluke sichaba sa Yesu sichaba sa South Africa, South Africa. A deep low fan on set himmel, a deep tefan on sim, on sens betes varens annonciate sounds the call to come together in united we shall stand. Let us time and strive for freedom freedom in South Africa, our land. Somehow. Thank you.
It's all good. I just want to rectify. So just before we lifted up the flag, I said Diana. It's actually Donna Katzen. Our names are very important to me, so I needed to rectify that. I just want to thank you all so much for coming through. We are going to have some entertainment and an opportunity for some group photos, but thank you for indulging us. Please continue to celebrate this partnership between South Africa and the USA. And of course, tomorrow, the 27th, marks the 30 years of democracy for South Africa. Thank you so much, and give yourselves a round of applause.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Before we leave, let me just share with us that the mayor is going to be meeting with the African community on May 4th. So it's important that we all take part in that. Let's participate. It's being organized between the mayor's office and the New York City African Council. So if you would like to attend, please